How many people are robbing Peter
Mhm.
to pay Paul?
Mhm.
Right? How many people are not
Yep.
paying taxes
Yep.
are throughout the year so they
Just to
can pay
live.
so they can make ends meet, and then at
Yep.
the end of the year they know I'm gonna owe all this money to taxes. I'm gonna owe
Yeah.
this. I'm gonna
Yeah.
have to start an agreement plan or a payment
Yep.
plan or something like that.
Yep.
But that's a reality that people face during this time. And like you said, it goes back to that fear of making a mistake, the
Yeah.
complexity and the confusion. If I don't do this, I'm not gonna be able to feed my kids. I'm not gonna be able to feed myself.
Yep.
Right?
Yeah.
It's an unfortunate reality.
Welcome back, folks. This is episode 12 of Safe Talk. We're talking about tax anxiety as we move into the tax season, as they
Oof.
change and update the brackets. But before that, what's up, Walt? How you doing, sir?
Getting anxious just thinking about taxes.
I know,
Damn.
right?
No, I'm good, man. I'm good. I'm loving this series, this little mini series that we're doing on the tax brackets and tax
Yeah.
anxiety. I think it's something that's super important, especially in today's climate with inflation and
Yep.
rising costs, rising home costs, rising food costs. I know that things have been getting a little bit better
Yeah.
here in the last few
Oh,
months. I think that is important. It's an important subject to talk about. So I'm excited to get into it and have this safe space for us to agree, disagree, to
yeah.
work things out.
I love this show because of course, folks, this is safe talk. This is it's a safe place to talk. We on our other shows, it's about payroll. We talked about how the tax brackets impact payroll professionals.
Hmm.
We talked about, and it's about your paycheck, how the tax brackets impact us as individuals, as employees. And here is just I want to just talk about why. Like, why does it get us anxious, and how can we combat that a little bit? The money, like my wife always is, oh, you get so tense when we talk money. And what I realized recently is that I start worrying about my future immediately. Oh my gosh, right? Because payroll folks, we're aging folks, so it's not Asian, aging, and most of us are over 40. That's another thing we're going to do this season is trying to get young people excited about payroll. But with that being
Yeah.
said, it's ooh, I get anxious because I'm thinking about the future and so I wanted to share a few things of why we get anxious, right? Like why do we get anxious when we talk taxes? And now, a word from our sponsor, TimeTrak Go. To celebrate Small Business Month, TimeTrak Go is offering you a chance to experience the power of their time clock software completely free for the first month. The simply better employee time clock software that is going to make your life easier. TimeTrak Go already has a unique graphical employee time card, and that will help you quickly identify and fix the mistakes.
TimeTrak Go just announced the addition of automatic PTO accrual earnings, so you can say goodbye to those manual calculations. And TimeTrak Go integrates with your favorite payroll systems, including QuickBooks, Gusto, ADP Workforce Now, Paychecks, and more. Don't miss out. Take advantage of this special offer. Use the link in this post to start your 14-day trial in the month of May to qualify for your first month free. Let's go.
Let's go. Because
Okay.
one is complex and confusing, right? Tax laws are just overwhelming.
Yeah.
Two, we have a fear of making a mistake. There's a common fear of making those errors that could lead to paying more taxes, or worse, we miss our payments and we're facing penalties, and then people threaten to get a divorce. People threaten to get arrested, and then you going to
Oh,
jail or
they might
whatever.
get divorced
They
too,
might
so
get divorced. That's so funny
I'm,
because my
I'm
wife,
sick of you.
my wife said, "Look, you make me go broke, we are done." And I like that.
Oh
That's
my
the deal
God.
breaker. This fear is intense when people are self-employed or you have multiple income
Mm.
sources. Remember, we talked with Tabitha Brown. She said it gets overwhelming because of the multiple places money is coming from.
Yeah.
She's her own business now. She's self-employed, so she's getting different deals, does a million different things. So yeah, it's all great, but God, you have to keep it in track. Employees, we get lulled into this. Oh, we get the check, we get the one check, we get the one check, we get the one check. It's easy, but
Hmm.
it gets more stressful for self-employed folks. And then another one is financial impact, right? Taxes have a direct impact on our money. So the possibility of owing is it can be anxiety, especially if you're
Oh
already
my
living
God.
paycheck to paycheck, right? And you're
Man,
not planning.
Yeah. How many people are robbing Peter
Mhm.
to pay Paul,
Mhm.
right? How many people are not
Yep.
paying taxes
Yep.
throughout the year so they
Just to
can pay
live.
so they can make ends meet, and then at
Yep.
the end of the year they know I'm gonna owe all this money to taxes. I'm gonna owe
Yeah.
this. I'm gonna
Yeah.
have to start an agreement plan or a payment
Yep.
plan or something like that.
Yep.
But that's a reality that people face during this time. And like you said, it goes back to that fear of making a mistake, the
Yeah.
complexity and the confusion. If I don't do this way, then I'm not gonna be able to feed my kids. I'm not gonna be able to feed myself.
Yep.
Right?
Yeah.
It's an unfortunate reality.
Yeah. And another one, it's super time consuming, right?
Oof.
And the more stuff, different things you have going, the more paperwork you have to get involved in. "Oh, I got to put all the documents together. I need this one. Did I get my 1095 yet? Did I get this yet? Did I get that yet? Oh gosh." So it's time consuming. There's also privacy and security concerns.
Ooh.
And I know I got this one when I'm sharing my, now when I'm sharing all these documents, I'm like, oh my gosh, like I get so nervous. What I do appreciate is that when whoever's your tax preparer, they have a secured share drive and you can upload it directly to
Mhm.
something instead of emailing your things across the world or whatever. Doesn't mean cross town. If as soon as it's on the internet, it's in the world. So that makes me nervous. I'm also an advocate of not doing mail W-2s. Like you should get your digital, you should just log in and download it. That in and of itself is dangerous because if you're on an internet connection that's not secure, it's more dangerous though for your W-2 to go out on paper and somebody sees it and it's nothing to just grab it, right? If some carrier or handlers or your mailboxes or whatever, people do it's easy to just steal it. Your whole identity is on this freaking W-2.
Man, if you have a think about it, if you have an unsecured connection or your connection, your internet, your
Yeah.
web, your Wi-Fi
You're no, oh, I
is
gotta go
acceptable.
public. I gotta go to the library to use it.
Yes,
No.
go to a library. You're in a Starbucks. You're in a this and
Oh
that or
gosh,
whatever.
no.
Like
Yep.
there's different people that are just waiting around. There's people. One of the tactics, and I know this is a different show, but one of the tactics people use is that they have a little portable router that they take to
Hmm.
open spots, and
Hmm.
they wait for people to connect, and they name their router the same thing, like Starbucks guest. And you think you're connected.
Wow.
You think you're connected to the actual restaurant or the actual establishment Wi-Fi, but nope, you're really on somebody's hotspot, and they're tracking everything that you do.
Yep.
So I get the privacy and security concerns because
That's a
you
great
never
call out,
know,
though.
man.
No, it's not a different show. That's every show we do. Cybersecurity is that's a really good call out. I did not know folks did that. Thank you for that. It's probably
Mhm.
on that list of 50 cybersecurity thing threats that we only got three into it.
Yeah.
But yeah, cybersecurity again, that's the point. The security of it all is like, what? And then the last thing with the anxiety of it is past experiences. If you didn't have a good experience with your last tax person. I remember one year I went to H&R Block and I had to tell the person what to do. And I just got up and left. I was like, hey, you know what? We're done here. I'm good. We're not doing this.
You
If
told me
I
about
know
that.
more, yeah, if I know more than you, what you doing? Because folks, you got to be careful. A lot of these tax preparers, they're just they usher them in during tax season. They don't need prior knowledge. They teach you how to key buttons, ask questions, and hit the buttons, and poof, you're filed.
Yep.
Oh, I want a tax preparer that actually understands some code. You know what I mean? I had a great CPA, God rest his soul, that had this saying up: to evade is
Hmm.
illegal, to avoid is legal. And what that
Hmm.
meant is if you know what you qualify for, what your benefits are, and what your tax credits are, and all these
Hmm.
things, if you know the code and you
Man.
know where you fit, you
Yeah.
can apply it to your filing accordingly.
Man, you got me feeling like I'm in church, man. Say that again. Say that one
I
more
don't know.
time. To evade
To
is to what?
evade is illegal. To
Hmm.
avoid is legal.
Hmm.
But that means just knowing the code, knowing how to
Yes.
file, knowing all the things that are applicable to you. And it is
Yep.
complicated. We just talked about it on the other show. It's about your paycheck and it's about payroll. Go check those out. Those are free shows, right? God bless. Thank you, folks, for being on our Safe Talk and to our subscribers. We love you. We can still coming with the content for you. But go check out the free shows because we're talking about the more detail stuff there. What's up?
So going back into these past experiences, right? Like
Hmm.
I've heard stories of people trusting someone in their family or trusting someone they were referred to to file their taxes, and this person stole their money.
Oh no.
I've heard stories of that. I'm sure you have too, of where this person filed and said, "Oh, I'm going to get you a refund. The check is going to come to me, and then I'll release the payment to you." And this person just disappears. Like, how does this person
Wow.
disappear? Like, where did they go? Like, I've heard stories of that, of people getting taken advantage of, and so that makes people a little leery,
Yeah.
right? That makes them, and see, and that causes that, what that forces is that forces the individuals to go to a TurboTax or a tax act or one of these self-filing programs that are
Yeah.
out there, and you still don't know, really don't know, even though
No.
they have breakdowns and explain everything to you.
Nope.
Honestly, some people really don't know. Okay, this thing is suggesting that I do this, then I'm
Okay.
gonna follow the suggestion. I'm gonna do this and I'm gonna do that.
Yeah.
Nah. Make sure like those past experiences, I think, really play into why there's so much anxiety around tax time, because
Yep.
there's some crazy stories out there, man, about
Yeah.
how
No, I
people have
believe
been
it.
impacted. Yeah.
I would say be careful with these pop-ups, right? The storefront was empty a week ago, but now it's tax season, and boom, it's a pop-up tax preparer
Yep.
office. What? Where were you before? You
And
know what I
and
mean?
and at the end of the day, the unfortunate thing is that the government was like, "Oh, I'm sorry that happened to you, but you
You
still
still
owe us."
owe. You still owe. That's right. You still owe on that. Yeah. No,
Yeah.
it can be really, yes, all that. And overall it contributes to our anxiety. The combination of these financial implications, the need for it to be exact, the complexity of the laws, it stresses us out.
So
Period.
stressful,
So
man.
Walt, on that note, what can
Hmm.
we do to battle some of these anxieties and the stress of it all?
As employees, these are just suggestions, but these things may help you along the path. You may consider doing all of them or some of them, depending on your tolerance or whatever you need, right? The first thing is, tax season often brings waves of anxiety to us as employees. So, what could you do? You can acknowledge that anxiety, you can acknowledge that stress, and try to understand the underlying things of it all. Now, that may seem like burdensome and a lot to do. So, you may be able to do that, or you may not be able to do that, but you can try to acknowledge it and say, okay, hey, I understand why I'm stressed. It's like almost like having self awareness within
Hmm.
yourself and
Yeah.
being able to
That's
realize,
it. Yeah.
hey,
No, it's coming. It's coming.
yeah.
Yeah.
Yep. And so the next step is early planning and being organized. So
Yes. Ugh,
procrastinating
I'm a
and
victim of this. Yeah.
waiting to the last minute
Yep.
is only going to amplify
The
or
stress.
increase that
Mhm.
stress,
Yeah.
especially when it comes to taxes. Start early. So that means start
Now
organizing
for
yourself
next year.
earlier. Yeah.
Yeah.
I remember my dad, to his credit, he used to have one of those, not a Rolodex, but one of those accordion type
Yeah.
file
Yeah.
things
Yeah.
that
Yep.
stretch out, and he would
Yeah.
put things in there by alphabetical order. Okay,
Yeah.
this is going under A,
Yep.
B, C, D. Like he used to have those things and prepare himself for those tax seasons. So
Yep.
like he had everything, every receipt, everything. So he had it already organized. So by the time the end of the year came, I got all my stuff right here. All you got to do is just hand it over to your tax preparer, or you just pull it
You do
out
it
when you're ready
yourself.
to
Yeah.
file your
You do. Yeah.
taxes.
Yeah.
So early planning and being organized will help relieve some of that stress. Start early.
Yeah. I tell
So,
myself that every year. I'm
mhm,
okay with it, but I still end up waiting to too long to I have two buckets of receipts that I gotta go through and make and
yeah,
pick out the one. But I should be more intentional because I know which ones are gonna impact me tax wise at the end of the year. So I need to
mhm,
be like, maybe this year I think I'm gonna be more intentional as I save new receipts. But yeah, I'm a victim of this too. I wait too
yeah.
long and then it takes me like a whole day to
And then you're
prepare.
scrambling. Yeah,
Yeah,
and then you're
I got to take a day
scrambling.
off.
Yeah,
I think I have to get some PTO, take a day off. I'm serious and get all my stuff because it's too
yeah.
much. It's too much. I waited too long. I don't want it to take away from my weekends. So,
Think about it. If you have multiple accounts,
oh,
multiple
forget
streams of
about it.
incomes, like you mentioned, multiple streams of income and all these
Hmm.
different things, it's going to
Hmm.
factor in. Hey,
Yeah,
okay, that's just you as an individual. Imagine if you have family and dependents that
that's yeah.
you're responsible for. That's even more
Side
stress.
business. You got a side
Yes,
hustle and you're doing
yes,
this and that. Yeah,
yes. You got
Yeah.
to have everything accounted for. Even if you're into sports betting as an employee, you have to pay taxes on those winnings. So you need
Oh,
to make sure you
ooh,
have,
good call out.
yes. So you have to pay taxes. So that's something to think about as well. You can report that on your taxes. If you're taking a loss, you can report that. So this is just a fun tip for you.
Yep.
So another thing is trusted professional guidance. I want to throw that word
Yes.
in here. It just says seek professional guidance, but
No.
trusted
Yeah.
professional guidance. So
Got
do your research, review and see, hey, what has been people's experience using these people to file their taxes.
mhm.
So yeah, as we know, tax codes are intricate and navigating them can be overwhelming.
Yeah.
So you should consider getting the assistance of some trusted
If you
tax
can afford it,
professionals.
also, that's the other thing I throw in
Yeah.
there. If you can afford it,
Hmm.
sometimes you can't not afford it. Like you can afford not to do it, but
Yeah.
of course,
So
it's
and
that's
it's
the
it may be
anxiety
a
of it.
little bit, it may be a little bit more expensive, but it may be well worth it. So
Yeah.
instead of you paying that $60 that you pay by doing it yourself on Tax Act or TurboTax, you may have to pay double or triple
Mhm.
that.
Yeah.
But
Yeah.
they know if those tax professionals are on their stuff, they know where to
Yep.
get you more money and what to write off and stuff like that. Go
And
ahead.
I give you a personal advice is like a good one is gonna take an hour or two to interview you
Hmm.
and understand your life and everything that impacts it because
Yeah.
that is where that's the avoid part, right?
Yes.
What if you do something that you have a credit for? You don't even know. You
You
don't
don't
even
even
know.
know.
So a good tax person is going to interview your life. You may think it's evasive. Well, you asking me all these questions for because you could be contributing to the local this and oh, that's a tax credit. Oh, you have an elderly person that you care for in the house. That's a tax credit. You have children, your tax. You don't know.
Mm.
Some people think that, oh, I just had a child, 1231. Guess what? You can write them up. It's a whole year now.
Yep.
They don't know that. You don't even know. Oh, I figured because it was 1231 they were born that I can't do it for this tax. No, you can. But that's what I'm saying. So guess some like if they're really digging in, then you know they're good. There should
Yes.
be a better sign of a good sign. That's a good sign. That's a good flag.
Yes.
Sorry, man.
Yes.
Go ahead.
No, you're good. Thank you, sir. The next one is utilizing technology. So there are
Yes.
numerous
Yes.
apps and online tools that can
Yes.
simplify the tax filing process. Again, I mentioned some like TurboTax, Tax
Yep.
Act. They can walk you through, but you should still do your research, right?
Oh
Even
yeah.
some employers provide
Some
electronic
help. Yeah.
access to W-2 forms, but as you as an employee don't know you have that capability and you prefer not getting it through the mail, but an electronic version, your employer may have that option,
Hmm.
but you may not even know that
Yep.
as an employee. Then there's tax software that can guide individuals through the filing process, helping eliminate errors and streamlining the process. So you will definitely want to embrace technology to make the process more manageable. I will say I use TurboTax myself, and it is easier to put your data in. And so what TurboTax, you can put in, there's a number that's on your W-2 that you can enter and it will pull in the data and your information. So you don't have to upload anything. You don't have to scan anything. So you're protected.
Yeah.
So this technology, it can work for you if you know how to use it.
And it could also help you, like you mentioned in the first two, that you
Hmm.
can early planning, right?
Yep.
If you start scanning things in and budgeting and it starts putting it in the buckets that you need it to be in, and you
Hmm.
get your write-offs, right? Because of folks who are preparing early, and if you do write-off instead of the standard deduction, we cover that in the other two shows, so go there. That could help you get organized. You can start accounting for it. And if I'm intentional this year, I won't end up with this. But my bucket is right over here. That's why I'm looking at it and I can scan things in and start accounting for it early so I can watch my stuff early on. So, yeah, technology is good
Yep. And
if used right.
yes,
Yeah.
correct. If used right. That's the big caveat there. So if the next one, you want to, like you said it just now, you want to budget for those tax liabilities. So
Hmm.
say I may have a 9 to 5, but I do some side work and I have my
Yep.
own business, or
Yep.
I'm a contractor
Yep.
and I'm 1099. 1099 employees or contractors, you're liable for your own taxes
Hmm.
at the end of the year. So understanding that and planning for these tax liabilities throughout the year can help you mitigate that anxiety
That's right.
associated with your potential tax bill. Again, preparing yourself in early planning and organization throughout the year can help you do that. And if you do the math, it'll help you save accordingly.
Yep.
So like you want to prepare yourself and make sure that you're tracking that. If you are a 1099 contractor and you say, okay, I owe this much, the IRS has a nice tool out there, a tax calculator or
Hmm.
estimator, and you can
Hmm.
say, hey, this is how much I've made as a 1099 employee. How much should I have to pay? I know there's a percentage out there that you like to throw out there. What do you say, 30, 35%, Brian?
For what?
Uh,
For paying taxes?
yes,
Yeah, it's 25 to 35%. You can
yes.
estimate that's what you're going to pay total, state, local, federal, that type of thing.
So that's something that you can use. It's like that 25 to 35%. Like that,
But the
that's
the
another.
estimator is better.
The
The
estimator
estimator
is
is
better
better.
because
Yeah.
it'll give you a more
Yeah.
targeted number, right? That
Yeah.
you would have to do. So that's just something for you to utilize. And when it comes to budgeting for tax liabilities,
Yep.
the next thing you want to do is you want to take advantage of deductions and credits.
Yeah.
Like familiarize yourself with any available deductions or credits that may reduce your tax liability. Common deductions include those related to education, home ownership, and charitable contributions. So let's say you are a religious person, you go to church or you go to your mosque or whatever
Yep.
religion you're into, and you pay contributions and you give to charity, whether that's your tithes or you're just giving a gift. Those things can be considered charitable contributions,
Yep.
right? And so you as an employee should know that you just bought a home, you may get some deductions or some credits. You're in school, you may get some deductions and credits. Even if you have a 9 to 5, but you're also going to school,
Yep.
you may
Oh
be
yeah.
you may
Yeah.
be eligible for some of those things. So take advantage of those things. And like realizing that can help in some ways can help alleviate certain stress. Another big thing that we're really advocates of, and we've all have been saying, is practicing self-care.
Yep.
Give yourself some grace. Tax related anxiety can definitely and will definitely take a toll on your mental well-being. So practice some self-care techniques such as exercise, being mindful, getting adequate sleep to manage that stress. Taking breaks during the tax prep process can help you maintain focus and prevent burnout. Because think
Hmm.
about it, if you're
Prepared.
scrambling at the last minute and
Hmm.
you're already in a heightened,
Yeah.
anxious state,
Yep.
like that, you could miss something.
I gotta request my day off, man. I'm telling you, not even playing.
And
Because I don't
another,
want to be, I don't want to be this stressed out. If I have a day, if I have the day, then it's
mhm,
like an 8 hour period where I'm working
yeah,
anyway. It's I can, I can just tackle it because I waited too long. You know what I
yep,
mean?
no, yep. And then the last tip to help alleviate that can potentially help alleviate some anxiety and stress during tax time is communicating with your employers.
Yeah.
So if you're uncertain or you have concerns that arise from tax related matters,
Yeah. If
don't
you don't know
hesitate.
where to start, yeah.
Yeah, don't hesitate to communicate with your payroll team or your HR team at your employer. Employers may provide resources and clarification on company specific tax matters and offer some reassurance and support. If you work for a company that has a good HR and or payroll team, they should have some resources available. Now, again, I want to let you know that your payroll professional, your average payroll professional, should not be giving you legal tax advice on what you
No,
should file. They
no.
should point you,
Guidance.
they
Yeah.
should guide
Guidance.
you and point
Yeah.
you in the right direction.
Yeah.
Hey, you may want to go
Yep.
look over here. Like those signs that say, hey,
There-
this way,
Yep.
follow the signs.
Yeah, and it depends, right? If you have a good relationship with them and whatnot, yeah, they're not going to give you advice, but the guidance may get better. Little
Yeah.
pointers and tips, like one of the things, like when we fill out the new W-4, it used to be easy, single, whatever. This
Mm-hmm.
now it's put $2,000 for every child you have,
Mm-hmm.
and they're like, what? Well, how many? Folks get caught up there, And it's, so you got to multiply that for every child, and there's these new boxes that you got to check off. So you
Hmm.
can, again, I can't tell you what to put there, but look out for this. Okay, people
Yep.
get tripped up on this part all the time. Look out for that. If you're listening to this and you're like, oh, that W4 stinks, check out our boy Gerard Hall, thatpayrollguy.com. He built a spreadsheet to help you go through the process, and you can see
Hmm.
your number change, and you can see that it's a great tool.
Yeah, it's
And
great.
go check it out. And just, if you're having trouble, that is a, we've used it. Me and Walt took an hour one day and just walked through it,
Yeah.
and related it to what we saw and the pay. And I think we used like an employee, a random employee, as an example to see, oh, this is actually working.
Yep.
This works. So we proved it out, and it works. It's good. It's a good tool.
Yep, it is. In conclusion, we're going to recap some of these bullet points and give you some of the key takeaways. So, Brian, in
Yeah.
your opinion, what are some of the key takeaways from this?
I think it's confusing. Be prepared. Prepare yourself for the complexity of it, right? It's going to be complex. We're scared. There's a financial impact. It's time consuming. There's privacy concerns, and that you had a bad past experience, right?
Hmm.
So just, if it's too late for you now, like it is for me, I blew it. I'm done. Next year, I'm not only am I gonna take time to deal with this year, or rather the 23 tax filing, but now for next year, I'm going to be more mindful. I'm going to use some technology and get myself prepared in advance.
Yes. Like again, so one of the key things for me is like you just said, like you just ended on, start early.
Yeah.
Also educate yourself. Did you know that
Yes.
yes, that the normal deadline to file is well, April, but you can request an extension through the IRS that you may be approved
Yep.
to file later on in the year to give yourself more time to prep.
Yep.
So say, because things happen in life, right? We get busy and we forget. You know how many people have reached out to me saying, "Man, I forgot that I got to file my taxes now." You can avoid that by educating yourself and knowing these different deadlines and these workarounds that you can like file later on in the year and be like, okay, I'm going to file in October instead of April. I give myself more time to collect all my data, get everything together, and then I can file for the prior year later on in this year, right? You want to make sure you budget for potential tax liabilities, especially if you do gig work or you're 1099 or self-employed, and you want to make sure that you really watch those things so you don't end up owing or you break even at the end of the year, right? Know what works for you. Get trusted professional guidance and help on these things. And the most important thing is to not allow yourself to become burdened so much more than you have to. Take breaks,
Yeah.
man, practice self-care, give yourself some grace when it comes to these things, and really just utilize technology. I've known of some people, or I've dealt with people in the past. They were like, I don't trust anybody to do my taxes for me. I don't trust no, I don't trust any technology or system
Right.
or website to do it
Yeah.
for me. I'm gonna do it myself. And
Yeah.
if that's you, that's
Great.
fine.
Be
But
educated though. Get
be
educated though.
educate,
Yeah.
yeah, and prepare yourself and make sure that you're taking advantage of any potential deductions and credits that are out there. And again, prepare early.
I just want to call one thing out there for you said
Mhm.
to the extension, the filing extension. It Be careful, because it's technically only the extension to file. If you know you pay every year, you're supposed to still pay on April 15th, and then you can
Mhm.
file. You have more time to file. So
Yes.
just be careful. If you get back money every year, then you should be safe. But again, educate yourself. If you're going to take
Yes.
advantage of the filing extension, just go right to the IRS. They define what you can do for the extension. I just went there to check it out, and because I remembered, I was like, wait a minute, I think it's just to file, not to pay. But if you pay, and it's true, and if you pay every year, then you're gonna have to pay something, and then
Th-
you can file. Yeah,
yeah. Thank you for saying that. I know
yeah, no doubt.
I think I said file, but I didn't include all the extra stuff.
Yeah.
So thank you. Mhm.
Yeah, no, no problem. Yeah, it's just this well, while we're talking about it, the things that make us anxious is just being educated. I had somebody recently reach out to me and was like, "Oh, I want to be exempt." And I was, but IRS defines exemption very specifically. You qualified you got all your money back last year, and you expect the same scenario this year.
Oh, yes. If you think about it, so there are some, they classify them as, so if you're a international person and you
Yep.
came in and you have
Hmm.
a work exemption and you may
Hmm.
not have to pay certain taxes,
Yep.
you want to make sure that you're set up correctly on that, because
Yes,
that can cause
absolutely.
some different,
Absolutely.
that's part of the prep.
Prep. Yep.
Yep,
Students. We talked about
yep,
students real quick. Students have an exemption. If you're
yep,
a full-time college student, there's an exemption. You're gonna
yep,
get all your money back. And if you set it up right, you don't have to pay out the gate.
yep.
Little things like that, folks, right? Again, those things makes us anxious. Just to get educated about it, get better about it. Reach out to us if you have trouble. We can guide you and point you in the right direction. At some point, I want to get a tax professional come on and help us through these things. And but that'll, if you know somebody good, let us know. We'll have them on. But yeah, folks, that is it for this week's Safe Talk as we prepare for tax season. Don't get too stressed out, get prepared. I like that one. I think that's the biggest call out is get prepared, get educated, and really be proactive instead of letting it just come fall rain down on us like I did. Now I gotta
Hmm.
request a day off so I can deal with my taxes. For real. For real. But all right, until then, till the next time, folks, again, look out for this season in our ecosystem of shows. We are this season we're talking about getting young folks excited about getting into payroll because we're aging. We're an aging group and we really need some young folks to backfill payroll because if not,
Yeah.
what's going to happen? So that's what we'll be talking about throughout the season. We're going to have some guests. We're going to have some young payroll folks come on and tell us about being in payroll. I want to get my daughter on, talk about just the paycheck side of it, like the anxiety of, oh my gosh, I'm a new employee, right? So we're going to get
Hmm.
all kind of different point of views, and maybe that'll be a good safe talk to have them on. My daughter and her girlfriend want to come on and talk to us about
Hmm.
because they're brand new to the workforce. So we've been planning it, we've like been putting it off, but now it's perfect. This is the perfect season. This is what we're talking about. And yeah, just look out. We're gonna have fun with it, man.
Okay. Yep.
Cool. Till the
Thank
next
y'all.
time, folks. Yep. We love you. Peace.
Before we sign off, here are a couple quick things. Don't forget to follow It's About Payroll on LinkedIn and It's About Your Paycheck on Facebook and TikTok.
Thank you for being part of our payroll community, and thank you for being a part of this journey with us. Until the next time, keep learning, keep growing, and most importantly, keep going.
Thank you for tuning in to It's About Payroll. Until next time, keep learning, keep growing, and most importantly, keep going.